you ever wondered how to get more people to show up for your live events, streams, and online promotions? Well, you came to the right place. Today we are talking with Derral Eves, a video marketer extraordinaire, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you that so far, to date, his videos or the videos that he's worked with people on have over cumulatively 8 billion views on YouTube and currently 2 billion views on Facebook and counting. So Derral really knows what he's talking about when he tells you how to drive traffic, eyeballs, and people to your live videos, your YouTube videos, and your live events. So one thing that all of us are probably pretty good at is getting online and getting live, right? But the next part is, how do you find your audience? How do you attract more people to come watch your streams? How do you grow that audience? Well, Derral's here to help us. So stay tuned. We're going to be diving in deep. He's got a really great presentation to share some key tips with you. So I think that's going to be a wonderful, hopeful addition for you guys. So stay tuned for that. In addition, we also have a tutorial, as usual, a Wirecast tutorial. I'm going to be covering how do you stream to any destination, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, as a generic RTMP destination in Wirecast. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Well, you'll find out during the tutorial, but basically it allows you to stream to more than one destination at a time if you so choose. And that's pretty important, and that's something that we've been doing here on the show, streaming to more than one platform at a time since we started this new season of Wirecast Live. So we've got some really good stuff. Definitely stay tuned for this episode. You'll want to watch it. You don't want to miss it. Share it with your friends. If you want to tweet at me or Derral while we're talking, use the hashtag WirecastLive. That's hashtag WirecastLive, and we'll be able to make sure your comments appear on the screen during the stream. All right, guys, thanks, and I will see you right after the credits. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wirecast Live. We have been busy here. We've been bringing on new guests, trying to come up with new topics for you guys, as well as definitely always making sure that the latest promotions and giveaways and announcements are ready for you. So what I want to do before we get started is just tell you what's coming up so you know down the pipeline and you can set it on your calendar. We do have some exciting guests in next week's show. We're bringing on Dave Basulto from iOgrapher, who is a very, very capable founder and CEO and very experienced video and film producer. He has basically developed the perfect filmmaking kit for your mobile and iOS devices, and we're going to show you not only how that works, tell his story, which is a really awesome story, but bring him on the show, and actually we can talk a little bit about how to get some of your mobile devices into Wirecast and make for wireless filmmaking and wireless live streaming. So it's really fun to do that. After that, we'll be bringing on Eric Norell coming up the following week here on the show. Eric is from AJA. He used to be at Telestream. He knows Wirecast inside and out, but he is now developing peripherals and capture cards for AJA, which are the ways you bring in these high-quality video feeds into Wirecast. So Eric will be a fun interview as well. He's got a lot to share with us, as well as some upcoming announcements and products. So definitely you'll want to check that out. If you want to subscribe or know when we're going live, you should definitely click the follow or the like button so you know when we'll be live, and you'll be able to be notified every time we do go live here on the show. That's probably the best way to find out, but of course you can find us here every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time or 22:30 GMT. Last but not least, there's a couple other things I want to mention. Next week we have a how to set up your live streaming studio webinar. It's going to be a big webinar here Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, February 16th. So that's basically in 1 week, next Thursday. I'll be covering basically all the things you need to do to get going when setting up a live studio. I'll be talking about the very, very basics, and then we'll actually expand the conversation and talk about lighting, backgrounds, cameras, capture cards. We'll be talking about audio interfaces. We'll be talking about microphones, all that good stuff, the things that you really need to know. So definitely come in and join us for that. You can register at the Telestream website for all of our webinars. And finally, would you like to win a Wirecast gear? Because if you do, you should head over to the PTZ Optics website. PTZ Optics is giving away a brand new Wirecast gear on February 24th. That's in 2 weeks, so 2 Fridays from now, or from this Friday. Paul Richards and my friends over at PTZ Optics are doing a huge giveaway. They have a contest. You should head over to ptcoptics.com/Wirecast gear-giveaway. So let me just double check. Yeah, so it's Wirecast. We should be able to throw that up on the screen, and if it's not going to come up now, don't worry. We'll throw it up by the end of the show. Oh, here we go. Wirecast gear giveaway. So you're going to want to go to ptcoptics.com/Wirecast-gear-giveaway. So head over there and you'll get all the rules on how you could win a Wirecast gear, which is a pretty awesome giveaway from our friends over at PTZ Optics. All right, I think that covers our announcements for now. I will definitely have more for you next week, and we will be back to discuss more stuff then. But without further ado, I want to launch into the main attraction and bring on the man of the hour, Derral Eves. Derral is as I mentioned, an internet marketing and a video marketing expert. His videos have over 8 billion views on YouTube and on 2 billion and counting on Facebook. And Derral is going to tell us how to drive and promote your live events and live streams, how to drive more traffic to them. What are the key strategies and techniques you can do to find your audience and grow your audience for live events? I'm very excited to find this out myself. So Derral, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great, Derral. Thanks for joining us. And you're in Utah, right?
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're joining us from your home in Utah?
Not from my home, from my office,
Your
but
office.
It might as well be my home because I sometimes sleep on the couch.
All right,
so when I work too much.
I do know how that is. So yeah, the internet never sleeps, so internet marketing never sleeps either.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about, maybe before we launch into your presentation, I just want to get people to get a better sense of who you are, and let's talk, just tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into this, and how did you become such an expert at it?
Well, so like for me, I've always been curious with technology, and I kind of grew up in the age where technology was kind of expanding and growing, and I kind of got involved with that, through school and through just my personal interests. And as I went through school, I got my degree in marketing and advertising, a comm major. And I got my dream job, which was working for a regional hospital. And I thought, hey, this is the best way for me to, stay in the area. I live just right outside of Zion National Park, where it's just beautiful. And I quickly found out that, it wasn't for me. I needed to go out and really be tested and really kind of evolve. So I actually started my own business and started doing website design and programming, and then did a lot of promotion to get those websites ranked and so on back in 1999, and kind of expanded from there. And then I was looking to expand my company a little bit in 2005, and I went on Craigslist, and I saw this ad for this new website that was out called YouTube, and if I could get 100 people to sign up, that they would actually give me one of those big old brick iPods. And so I spammed everybody I knew. I mean, I did internet marketing on everyone that I knew.
Right.
And I got one of those iPods. And so I've been on YouTube, and it was since its inception, pretty much. This is kind of November of 2005. And then 2006, I noticed that these videos were really easy to rank in Google. And at the end of 2006, these videos were really easy to rank in Google because Google actually purchased YouTube. And all the efforts that I would do on promoting websites, pretty much, we could just upload one video, put the right meta in there, and we would rank. And so I'm like, hey, this is really, really cool. And so we kind of shifted the focus more to promotion of video, and those videos were really engaging so that it brought in leads and so on and so forth. And so as YouTube expanded, we expanded as well, and we helped content creators go from 0 to millions and millions and millions of subscribers. And been able to really build different audiences and so on. And, it just became a passion and a love. And realistically, I got sick of answering how to do things on YouTube questions of my clients. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to just post a video, but if I'm going to do this, let me just go ahead and spend 20 minutes a week and just just get the questions that they'd have and put them on a channel. And now I actually have the biggest how-to YouTube channel in the world. So, I mean, not bad for 20 minutes a week, but
seriously. Yeah, no, I love your videos. I love how data-driven they are. I love you go really into depth. If you guys haven't seen Derral's videos, you should certainly check them out at Derral's YouTube channel. Because and Derral, just what's your YouTube handle? You want to say that for
just
folks?
Derral Eves.
Derral Eves, one word. Okay. And then I highly recommend checking him out. But that's really awesome. I mean, have you noticed as it's gotten? Obviously, you've kind of been there since practically day one with YouTube, and a lot has changed in the last 12 years or so. Have you found that obviously with the increased attention and competition that ranking has gotten a lot harder, or you found that a lot of it, the stayed tried and true methods still apply?
Yeah, it's kind of like things evolve, and so the algorithm that YouTube have, it evolves all the time. And the big shift of the old school way of promoting and getting things found on YouTube was in 2012 and then early 2013. And that's when they really switched the way that they did the algorithm. Since then, they just put different weight. It's not like the algorithms changed much. They're just shifting the weight of what triggers the different events to actually happen on YouTube. And so, this hasn't really changed too much since then. It's just, if you do best practices and you start really seeing where your traffic's coming from, and you're really trying to get some of the triggers that YouTube offers, then you can literally explode. And there's been channels that we've started on and created that go from 0 to over 1 million subscribers in just a short amount of time, less than a year. And so, it still works. It's just, it evolves just a little bit, and it's more driven on developing an audience, where before it was about getting traffic to YouTube, which is still an indicator.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, if you get a lot of traffic to YouTube, and Facebook was great for that, but ever since they wanted to start competing with YouTube, they pretty much penalize any YouTube views that, from extending their post reach. And so it's almost impossible to get that traffic to come from Facebook like you did back in the day. So things evolve, but realistically, the algorithm hasn't changed too much since 2013. So
it's good to know. Well, Derral, I think that would be a good segue. Driving traffic or growing an audience into a YouTube channel is one thing, but sometimes people aren't necessarily planning on doing a weekly show or a weekly piece of content or even a daily, that they're trying to grow that audience sort of on a smaller content basis, but more frequent. They want to just do one big live stream or one massive event or a special event. And there's ways that you can sort of seed the ground ahead of time to make sure that more people will show up and your event will be more successful and you'll get more audience and more audience participation. So you're going to cover some of those key strategies, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And realistically, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a live stream, it doesn't matter if it's a video, you need to bring value. And there needs to be some type of value proposition that explained to get people to take time out of their busy schedule to come on to a live event or to watch a video. And so that value is really important.
Derral, are you telling me that content is king?
Content is king. But Andrew, distribution is queen, and she wears the pants. And we're going to talk about distribution.
All right.
I'll tell you what, you can have the best content in the world, and if people do not see it, then it just collects digital dust.
Right. They go hand in hand.
I've seen some amazing content, and it never sees the light of day.
So many undiscovered YouTube acts.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, really, you have to have some great quality content and value. It has to have some value. And so there's a couple ways. Now, YouTube teaches and preaches that there's different types of value that you can actually bring in a video. You can inspire people. You can educate them. That's what you do here on this, live stream. And then you can also entertain people. And if you're really good, you can kind of do all three or two of them. And that's where people really feel good about it, and they get more involved with your videos and also your live streams from there. Now, really promotion though, Andrew, of really getting your video or your live event, it's really categorized into two different groups. Now, the first group is organic. You have your organic strategies. This just takes time, and it leverages the assets that you currently own or you have access to. And then you have your paid strategies. And so, depending on the type of content that you're actually putting out there and how much push that you want to do, you'd always want to do at least both. And even if you're like, hey, wait a minute, I don't have any money, and so I can't do paid strategies. Well, it's really inexpensive to do the type of things that I'm going to suggest. And we're talking maybe $20, and if you have $20 to really boost it up, there's ways to really capitalize on that. Now, to do a lot of the strategies that we're talking about, you have to have things set up. And on the organic push, the first thing that you really need to do is to create a website or a landing page that you can send traffic to. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is like, oh, I'm going to just do a Facebook post and whoever engages with it's going to see it. Or I'm going to just do a video on YouTube. Well, that's great. But what we want to do is send traffic to a landing page that's specifically set up for your live event. So in your case, I would actually have Telestream actually set you up a custom URL. And when people go to that page, you actually have set pixels. And pixels are little cookies that when people come on a website that you're able to kind of track them afterwards. And so you can set up a pixel for Facebook, you can set up a pixel for AdWords and AdRoll and a few other things like that you can leverage a little bit later on in your paid strategy. But your landing page is a great place to have people enter into a contest, or they could even register to be notified. And so you might have a huge email list, but you don't want to send an email out to all your huge email lists, just reminding them of an event that they didn't even want to come to. But the people that actually register the event, you can actually send them an email, and you'll actually have them go to the landing page, fill out the email, and have some type of value there too, where they can would have some value exchange in that registration. So a contest or a giveaway is really great things that the people that actually registered there.
Right. Okay. So landing pages serve more than one purpose. They're not just ways to derive traffic, but they're also ways to start getting a list of people who want to register for an event, and also to get them excited and get them qualified for giveaways and value.
Exactly.
That you're sharing with them.
Exactly. Okay. And the cool thing about this too is as you do it, if you don't want to ask for an email or a name, that's fine. You can still leverage some other things as well through that landing page. Now, this information you're never going to get from YouTube. You're never going to get from Facebook. But if you bring it to your a domain that you own, and what I would do is just do a really easy shortener on there. So yours would be telestream.com/live, and that would be your landing page, and then it would change every week as you'd have your new program. And then all the stuff would just change around your show notes and your different things from there. Your sponsors can be on that page as well, and then also the things that you're promoting. It just makes perfect sense. And then as things occur, you can literally create a teaser video that you can put on that landing page, but you can also put on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
social media
and so
channels.
On.
Yep.
Yeah, and you do a pretty good job at that. I noticed that you had some teaser content.
Yeah, we're actually that was one of our goals for 2017, and it's funny that you mentioned the landing page as well. That is also on the list, is to get so that every episode I could just say, go to live.telestream.net and you can watch the latest show. You can get information about upcoming shows, etc. Everything you're mentioning, we can do contests and things like that. That's already, yeah, all that's in the
All in the
works.
works.
Yeah,
That's good.
so we
That's
definitely,
good.
we're kind of muddling our way through this just by realizing like what's the easiest way to get people to, find out, just get plugged in if they want to get plugged in. We don't really have that unless you're currently following us on one of the platforms. And that was sort of the easy way to get started, but we want to get it better and make it easier for folks. So
Absolutely.
that's really, really glad to hear that you're counseling the exact same thing we want to do.
That's awesome. And two, you can get other videos. I mean, you have teaser videos, but I have a video on my channel that generally I share, and it's if you type in "who is Derral Eves," you'll find the video that I'm talking about. It's a little crazy, but it kind of explains the message of your guests, and so you could use that as teaser content too, as you're promoting the guests that are actually coming on.
Oh, that's
so
a great
people.
idea.
So people really get to know, hey, I resonate with him. Oh, I never heard of this guy, but he's doing some pretty cool things. And so as you do that, you're starting to engage with the potential viewer. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day is you want to engage as much as possible with your potential viewer. Then, and this is something that you did as well, is like create a special graphic that has the speaker and the topic and getting access. Like I know I got an email from you saying, here's the the
show card, the show topic,
the show card.
Yeah.
But let me give you a little bit of things that you can do as well. So being in the marketing world, you work with a lot with affiliates and so on and so forth, and you want to make it really easy because at the end of the day, all of us are super busy. And so if you want people to do certain things, it's really easy if you give them swipe copy. Now, what swipe copy is you would actually put an email template together that pretty much says everything that's going on with your talking points and so on. And it would be just a template that you can send me. And all I'd have to do is like, oh, okay, this is only take me a few seconds to modify, or I can give it to my writer to, put it in my voice or whatever. Makes it really, really easy. But you also want to do swipe copy for their social posting. So here's a good 3 options for Twitter. Here's a good 4 options for Instagram. Here's something for Facebook. And have it be very specific for platform and really easy for them to do it. And then 2, you want to give the guest kind of a tracking code, and so it's super easy so that you know how much traffic he or she was able to generate for you as well. Because some of your guests might have a lot of knowledge, but others might have some influence that would bring more people onto the live stream, and that's something that you need to definitely look at.
Yeah, and that's something with tracking and just helping to know. It helps you measure whether your event was successful, helps you know which guests are bringing in which types of audience members or who's bringing in what. It just helps, I think, with the whole overall knowing where you are and where you want to be.
Yeah, and 2, there's a lot of organizations that are using live streams that have to report to the higher ups, right? You're like, well, why are you spending all this money? What is it doing it? Why are you doing that?
Right.
And this gives you the adequate data that you can say, hey, look, this is working, and this is what it translates into sales for our product, because we're informing people, we're educating them. Here's some upgrades that we've offered to them at a special rate just for the live rate, and that's another tactic too as well.
Yeah.
The next one is super easy, and it's very underutilized because we don't really think this way anymore, but press releases. Like literally sending it out to different organization blogs, influencers. You want to do a blog outreach, a vlog outreach, influencer outreach, where you get people that already are, they love your product or service or whatever, informing them of what's going on. And who knows, maybe they'll publish an article, maybe they'll put a blog post down, maybe they'll do a tweet that will generate a lot of traffic for people to register.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. But if you're going out, what would that look like when you say a vlog, a blog, and the third piece was the press release, right? So
yeah.
Are you literally crafting an email to folks that blog and say, hey, you're basically writing swipe copy for bloggers, or how does that work?
So here's the thing is you got to realize how bloggers and vloggers make money is through content, right? That's how they do it. They need to pump out content a lot. And the more that they pump out, the more page views that they can get, and so on and so forth, or more views and more advertising, and that's how they make their money. Now, with the press and PR, what I would do is create a list, and I do have a list personally, but I would, like, for my organization, say, okay, here are the influential blogs that talk about related topics. Here are the forums that talk about live streaming. Here are, the influencers that are talking about live streaming. And there's quite a few influencers on YouTube that have massive audiences that all they do is talk about, this is how you do a live stream type stuff.
Right.
And you want them, on your speed dial, to be able to communicate with them. And so an easy way to do that is to do like an influencer advisory board, where you meet with them quarterly or monthly. You give them some, perks or whatever, but you just tell them what's going on, and get their feedback of things that they would like to see changed with it. And so, that press and influencer outreach is huge. Some companies do what they call ambassadors, where they'll actually pay some influencers to, be an ambassador for a specific product or the company itself. And those ambassadors carry weight, and so, you can leverage that too as well. And that's more on the paid strategy side.
Right,
so.
Right. No, that makes sense. The advisory board thing is a really good kind of ongoing check-in tool. That wasn't something that we've talked about, but it's something that as we've grown a list of people that we know love our product and either have a lot of knowledge or a lot of influence in certain areas, we want to stay in touch with them. So normally we just do that on a one-on-one, case-by-case basis. But it might be good to set up something more in an ongoing advisory capacity.
Yeah, Andrew, I would always do it in a group setting, and there's a reason why. Is because if they're interacting like people that are in an advisory position, their whole life is around networking. Like for me, the most valuable thing that I own is not my bank account; it's my Rolodex. It's not even a Rolodex, but you know what I'm saying. Right. It's like the people that I'm connected to and the people that know who I am. And I know what they do, and how we can help each other, because that's the society we live in now.
Right.
And so having them to come into group is a little bit more difficult on getting the time for everybody to do it. But you could pretty much give options for when that can actually work. And then there's more value than you just giving feedback. There's some synergy because it's just not one person. You'll have multiple people that are able to connect with each other, and then also give you some valuable.
Oh, that's a really good piece of advice. I hadn't even considered that as a tool that not only would be valuable for us, but would be valuable for our influencers.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Well, Derral, you're going to be one of the first people I invite when I set up that board here. So,
like Kawasaki, right?
yeah. So, Derral, what can you? So we've talked a little bit about the free strategies. This is some really good practical advice that people could do, and it takes preparation. Obviously, you need to think a little ahead. You need to create the tools that on a episode or live event basis. But if once you get rolling, you kind of know what each live show will take or live event is going to take in terms of your checklist. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. I should email these people. I should get them some easy to use, easy to share content. What?
And if you do it consistently too, Andrew, you don't want to overburden someone. You just got to be very strategic when you actually do certain steps.
Yeah, you don't want to call in all your chits at this, every week, right? So yeah, and you should be obviously sharing what other people are doing each week, because that's another nice thing about that is I would assume they're going to share content and in live events that they would like you to share, which is also your audience would probably want to know. Especially if there's somebody or an organization that is parallel and are doing the types of things that you're doing.
Yep.
So, what is the next sort of set of advice? Are we moving into the paid section of strategies now?
Okay. Organic is where it's at. And we'll get into the paid. Paid's really easy once you get your organic going. But one of the most underutilized asset that companies actually own and people own are email lists. Now, you got to be very careful not to spam people, because people don't like that. I don't like it. You don't like that. We don't want that.
Right.
And so the customer email database is really, really fascinating. And if you can just literally, like, if this would be more like your hero setting where people are, you're really putting a huge effort into your live event, then you can send it out to all the database. But the database itself in the paid strategy, when we get to the paid side, is really, really important. And we'll talk about what you're going to do with that. Now, this is still on the organic side, even though that I said, hey, this is your customer database. What you're going to do is you're going to actually upload your customer database to Facebook and to AdWords and any third-party software that does customer matching. And you want to be able to do that beforehand. Even if you don't spend $1 on it, it's at least having that information sent there, and literally start creating an audience and looking for similar people in the world that would be interested in the products and services that you offer. Mm-hmm. And then when you do decide to send out an email to your whole customer database, make it with enticing subjects instead of saying, oh, we're just doing a live stream. I would do 10 things that you will miss, in doing a live stream, or 10 things that you will miss
if you don't see this live stream, right?
Exactly. And word it in a way, I would take time to wordsmith this, but word it in a way where you're not trying to give them all the information. You're not trying to promote every one of your products. You're being very specific in that one email. Hey, we have this live stream. It is for everyone that does live streaming. These are the things that we're going to cover, and this is what you're able to win. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So click here to register, and that click there will take you to your landing page, which you'll track. And two, if you're using any type of email service, you can actually tag the people that actually clicked on the link and went there. So you can say, hey, these are the people that are interested in the live stream. And so you're not going to be spamming everyone in your database, for further things. It's like if they sign up and go from there, then you're able to do that.
Right.
And then two, this information is a little bit more valuable for a paid strategy, which we'll talk about in a second or two. So.
Yeah, so you craft the email very carefully. You send it out to everyone you can. I assume you get any partners involved in the event to get them to send an email to their folks, right?
That's where that swipe copy comes in handy, because you already gave them a template mm-hmm. for them to email out to their own group, mm-hmm. Saying, hey, I'm going to be a special guest on, Telestream Live, and, Andrew's going to interview me. You do it more,
from
different types of
perspective. Yeah. Right. A little differently. Okay. And then it's go time. You drive them to that landing page, that registration, to register, to win prizes, to sign up, and so forth. That kind of immediately separates your list, right, into the people that are already there signing up.
Absolutely. You start to segment your list, and that's mm-hmm. what we're trying to do. We want a general approach, and we start to segment, so we know that people that are interested, and we can go after the people that will be interested. Also, too, just for the landing page, and it's something that I didn't put in the kind of my thoughts, but this kind of triggered that thought is when somebody registers, give them an extra entry for the contest if they share it on their Facebook page, or mm-hmm. tweet it, or share it with a friend. You can actually set it up so that it's really simple for them to get an additional entry, or 5 entries, or whatever, to increase their odds. And so what you're doing is leveraging them to help promote for you as well.
There's a great article on this, and it's really about product launches. But again, a lot of similarities crossover I'm seeing here. But I read it on Tim Ferriss's blog, The 4-Hour Work Week, and he was basically, which
he doesn't work 4 hours. I'm just letting you know right
now.
No,
I know.
try like 80 hours.
Yeah. He's actually another guy who uses ScreenFlow. Actually, he's big on that product. So we've been seeing. Love to have him on the show someday. But we're basically, he interviewed the founders, or had them guest post on his blog exactly how the founders of the Harry's Razor sort of company got launched. It's called hacking product launch, or how to get what was it, a million shares in 7 days or something like that. It's a really, really good article on this, and it was
good clickbait title too.
Yeah, great clickbait title. And one of the things that they said was that they really wanted, I mean, they walk you through the landing page design, and they go, we designed it this way because of this. We wanted it to be friendly. We wanted blah. We wanted it also to be a way for, in their case, it was not only, it was a contest, so that they had all their friends and people. The more you shared, they could track how many people came to the site or the landing page because you shared it with them, and so you would get credit for all those people who signed up for their email list. So it's basically how to grow an email list and like get to like, I think they got like 750,000 or whatever.
And product launches and doing a launch sequence for an ad or a video or a live event's the same thing.
Yeah.
All you're doing is you just have a different product that you're pushing. Your product is the live event. And so you can use a lot of those same strategies, but a lot of people, they're like, oh no, I'm going to just do a live event really quick. That's great. And you can do that. But every once in a while, I would do it at least quarterly or, during special times of the year, put as much effort as you possibly can into that live event in promotion and treat it like it's like you're launching a brand new product or whatever, and you'll get the engagement like that you're hoping for. And what the trickle over effect would be is people watching it week to week to week if you're doing that, or engaging with a certain offer or promotion. So.
Right. Yeah, and tying that in time-wise.
Absolutely.
That was a great point.
Well, one of the other things too, Andrew, that people don't leverage is the ad space that they currently own. And like for that, for example, is we have cover photos on Facebook and Twitter, and we also have a signature line in our email where it's like free ad space to anyone that you communicate with or anyone that's connected with you, that you're able to say, oh, wait, I didn't know they had a live show, or this event's coming up. I want to figure out. We've done that, and we tracked the emails, and you'd be surprised just by putting it as your signature line in an email. It could get 10, 20% of your signups or your visitors or your views, depending on how you actually do some of your interactions. So like when I work with brands and businesses and speakers, influencers, just having that, they're like, oh man, this looks really cool. I want to be a part of this, and that's where a lot of the social sharing can happen as well.
That's a great point as well. Paul Richards, who was actually saying hi on I think YouTube here, I was just talking with him a little earlier, and I noticed in his signature it was like, come watch our show, my live show every Friday or whatever. And I was like, that was
all smart.
I should totally put this in my signature. I don't know why I haven't thought of that before, but it was great because it just reminded me of his show, had a link to go subscribe and get notified when his show is live. And I was like, that's a really, really good thing, and this is the simplest little trick. And I'm sending emails every day, and I have a signature of where people can find me. I just never thought to add the live show.
And the great thing about it is if you have that custom URL, your URL is never going to change, because, of the event and so on and so forth. And two, you can leverage it in any other way. Like what I do too is, promoting on Instagram, you can actually put the link in the bio that takes people to that page, and then you can call it out, whether it's in an Instagram story or you're doing a live feed or you're putting up a video and engaging with them. That's the ways that I would do it. And then you could always do, an image post too, and say, oh, links in the bio if you want to find out any more information, or if you want to win this prize, learn how you can win it. And that way people are going to the site, we're collecting data and kind of going from there.
Yeah.
But also utilizing other platforms like Snapchat. You can also do Facebook Live. Even though that this is going on Facebook Live, you can still do Facebook Live to get out there saying, hey, here's some of the prizes, here's what's happening, instead of uploading a video, because with the algorithm, more people will see the live than just uploading a video. So, there's a lot of cool little tactics that you can do.
That's right. Well. Yeah, no, good points. And people are definitely in the on Facebook and on YouTube definitely commenting how much they're enjoying this content, Derral. So thank you for sharing this. And they're
bringing some value here.
Yeah,
it's a value proposition, right?
Yeah, you totally are. And thanks guys for commenting on that. We've got lots of positive responses here for this. And then
let them know too, like we're going to answer questions too, because I know I'll go through it, and I don't have time to cover everything, but you might have a specific question. We'll have time for that, for sure.
Yeah. So if you guys want to ask questions for Derral, or if something that he's talked about has sparked, something you need, other questions you'd like to have him answer. We'll definitely have some time for that. So enter your questions on Facebook, YouTube, or tweet at us with hashtag WirecastLive. Honestly, that'd be one of the best ways to do it, so we can put that on the screen for the audience to see and then take the question that way. But I will try to read them to you if we, they're not on the screen. So Derral, what's next? So we've talked about lots of strategies so far. Next step.
Okay, so now what we want to do is really start to engage the potential viewer. Like, we have to think, okay, how can we actually get them to start helping us promote? And the more that you help promote, the better it is. Now, depending on your organization, you can do it with your advisory board, but you can have like this private group on Facebook where, you have your most avid fans, the people that literally will spend time in the forums answering the questions for you, and helping you out. You want to give them benefit, you want to help them succeed, because they're your biggest advocates. And so one of the ways to do that is to give them a voice and to help them, give them a voice. And so there's different ways to do that. I like to try to connect with them on a regular basis. I like to call them my social army. Mm-hmm. And when I need something, I say, hey guys, I'm getting ready to promote this. Would you guys help me do it? And whether they get free training where you pull the big group on, and it's private training for a webinar, but it's just for your hardcore people. You could tell them things that are happening with the company that you don't really talk about publicly. There's a lot of things that you can do. But it's really enabling your social army to start promoting and engaging with potential audiences. And so that's kind of this grassroots effort of, starting to get your organic swell. Mm-hmm. Another way to do it too is to give them incentives. So like for me, you're doing a giveaway, and I hear about this giveaway, in the beginning of this segment, but I would do giveaways exclusively for that group. Mm-hmm. So that they know that it's not going to go out to thousands of different people, but it's going to go to maybe a couple hundred, that they can have their chances to win that too. So you might want to work with your sponsors to give them a little bit more added benefit as well. And then, that brings a way to engage people is to do contests and giveaway. I like an application called Gleam. You can find it at gleam.io. Okay. And there's ways that you can get them to enter. You can capture their email. You can put this on your website too. So this could be on your landing page, mm-hmm. but you can actually give them additional ways to enter by engaging with your content socially and sharing your content socially as well. And so a more powerful way is to engage with your potential viewer, to maybe do a survey or have them submit the questions that are going to be asked to the guest, mm-hmm. and you're engaging them on that specific level.
Got it. So you're crowdsourcing, you're asking for input, you're asking for ways in which they can get involved and take some ownership of the live event. Absolutely. Or the live stream.
But keep in mind that anytime that you do this beforehand, because we'll be doing this, we'll be reading their tweet, but you want to give them validation too. So you're like, okay, this comes from, John Smith from Omaha, and he's asked this question. Mm-hmm. And you kind of vet the questions that are going to be asked, and it's really, really powerful. And then two, you can say, what would you like to learn about? You're engaging them as well, so they get more involved.
That's cool.
The next one, and this is still organic, you're going to create an event in Facebook. Now you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was sending people to the website. Why am I going to create an event in Facebook? Well, in the event, you can actually put a URL where they can register. But what we're trying to do is blanket it out there, and wherever people gravitate, we're trying to collect information and leverage the tools that are actually out there. And so creating an event is really important, where you're able to put that, you put a time, they can click to be notified if they're going, if they're not, they can share it with their friends. It just makes it really easy to do that. Mm-hmm. And then that's all the things that you can do. Now, there's a whole list of items, Andrew, that you can still do organically. Mm-hmm. We just don't have the time to cover all of it.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to some of the paid strategies and a lot of the Q&A too.
Yeah.
So,
that's more than I think most people could be able to pull off successfully for a single live event. And I think, frankly, the number of things and strategies you can do is practically limitless, right? In terms of organic, there's always something new you can try, and probably don't have time to do them all. Ever.
Yeah, but the most important thing is you don't have to do this all yourself.
Right.
And there's other people that you can pull in that would be happy to do a lot of these things for you.
That's cool.
So let's talk about paid, because this is where it gets really, really interesting. People think, oh, paid strategies, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to even do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like, we live in a society now that we track everything, not just the NSA, but everybody tracks everything.
Right.
And so you can really hone in on the people that you're going to target in your paid strategies. And, you know, when I told you about that customer database and that we were uploading it to Facebook and AdWords and in any third-party application that will go customer matching, the reason why we do that is because you can just send an ad out to all your customers and not have to send them an email, because honestly, people get on email overload, and now a lot of the email programs will send it into different types of folders that people never see, or it goes into spam or whatever. And so, you know, you're like, well, what's the true value of that email? Well, it does a couple things. Number one, we can send an ad just directed to our email database. We can also do what they call a lookalike audience, a similar audience, or a custom audience that, you know, Facebook would say, okay, here's the traits that this email has, and here are all the other traits in the world that have the same type of traits, or accounts that would. Let's serve the ad to that. And so it looks for your potential, you know, your potential people that are potential viewers for that event. Also, you can do the same thing in AdWords and other applications, and it's really inexpensive to do that, because what we can do is we can put that Facebook event that we just created. We can say, okay, let's push this ad out, and we're going to promote this event, but it's only going to go to our similar audiences and our customer database, and we're going to just spend $20 on it. You would be amazed of how many signups would actually happen for $20. You know, and if you're more aggressive and you say, look, we've proved this concept, and you go to the higher ups, if you're working in an organization, you can say, you know what, let's spend a little bit more money, and you'll know exactly the ratio every time. You know, the different types of content resonate differently with your database.
Right.
You know, some people might be interested in other things. And so as you segment those lists, then you can get very pointed and say, okay, these are the people that are doing screencast. Here's the people that are doing Wirecast. You know, here's the people that, you know, have been more involved on the equipment side. And so when you have topics that would engage them, that's the ad that I would send out to them.
Got it. Makes sense. And you can test that for very small dollar amounts.
Very small dollar amounts. And it's not just test it. You can actually, I mean, $20 goes a long way.
That's true. You can actually get leads. Yeah. Get new emails.
Now, here's another thing, is you have me on, you know, as a guest here, but you can also run ads against the people that follow me. You know?
It's
really easy to do. Like, wait a minute, I know this guy, that fat guy on YouTube. You know, that's the whole thing. Is you can literally piggyback my audience and say, hey, this guy's going to be on, and you don't even have to worry about my
asking
post.
You,
or
right? we just do it.
Right. Or if I post something, you could actually repost it on your Facebook page, and then just target you'd use that as an ad and target my audience that, you know, that they are able to say, that's really good money well spent, because, hey, this person's going to be here, and you're starting to associate, you know, your lists together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's not something I typically would think of in terms of, you know, typically it's all been organic and just saying, hey, you know, if you want to share this out to your audience, please, you're more than happy to have you do that. But not really thought about then turning that around and actually being like, yeah, well, why don't we just, you know, actually buy an ad for them.
When we first started this, you're like, content is king. You stopped me. You're telling me that content's king.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your content is,
right.
But if nobody sees it,
it
doesn't do you a bit of good. So distribution is queen, and she tells the king what to do.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you know, if you can figure out good, solid paid strategies, you just up your chances of people viewing it and engaging with your content. And, you know, regardless of what it is, just a very minute budget can do a lot more than any organic could. So
interesting. That's really yeah. So the paid strategy, and do you recommend, like, what is your sort of takeaway from, say, paid advertising or using paid strategies on YouTube or Google with AdWords, and YouTube ad buys versus the Facebook ad buys? Are there some differences you
Yes,
notice that are really
100%.
important?
It's completely different, and it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I love both platforms really, really well, and they target uniquely in a different way. So, if you're looking more of a social engagement, do it on Facebook. If you want it to be brand awareness or have people take specific action immediately, that will work on both platforms. Excuse
Right.
me. But the pre-roll ads, you can get really specific that you're only showing those pre-roll ads at maybe a cent or 2 cents to that customer database, and they can get either really sick of you, or you can just limit how many times they can see it in a given day. But yeah, they're very effective. But one of the strategies, Andrew, that people don't really look at is, and this is something that I always look at every time, is what influencers that have these huge audiences already, and what if I gave them a few dollars to post something, or to share something or whatever? What would that cost me? And just for a few dollars, you can get influencers to do some pretty amazing things, because on Facebook, there's not a lot of ways for them to actually make money utilizing their list. On Instagram, there's not a lot of ways for them to make money to do that. On YouTube, they can put an ad up. And this is a technique that we do. It's what I call a piggyback attack. You could say, I want this ad to show up on every single channel that does live streaming tutorials and tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can actually put it on there and say specifically, I only want it to show to these people or the people that follow there, and they can block you in AdSense and say, I don't want these people advertising on mine. But nobody knows how to do it, or they don't even think about it. They're like, oh, or they don't even see their own ads, so they don't even know what's going. And then here's a little hyper tip for anybody that's like a true geek. Even if they block it on AdSense, you could do your ad on AdRoll and DoubleClick. DoubleClick's the one that's the strongest, and they can't block it. If it's being served through DoubleClick, good luck. They can complain, but they can't block it. So.
Interesting.
Wait a minute. Just told my competitors how to actually advertise on my channel. Take it.
Oops. So yeah, I mean so you would find that they're each different, and I definitely want to be conscious of time here and realize that we want to get to Q&A, and hopefully I'll have some time to do some tutorial stuff at the end here. So is there anything else you'd wrap up? Any other quick paid strategy you would highly recommend? And then we'll do Q&A.
Yeah. So like when your people are registering, use that email to upload and serve those ads out. You're doing pre-roll videos on YouTube. Instagram's an untapped market, especially if your audience is that type of audience. And it's fairly inexpensive to advertise on Instagram, really inexpensive to advertise on Twitter. So there's a lot of different options that you can do there. Mm-hmm. Man, I wish we could go on forever. Maybe we'll have to do another video or something to do this.
Well, and honestly, folks, we do have a little bit of a surprise in store for you. Derral and I were talking about, not just when he was coming on the show and what we were going to talk about, we thought this was a really, really cool topic to pick, because a lot of you might be interested in this, particularly as live streamers and people doing live events like this. It's one thing to get on the air and know where to put a microphone. It's another thing, as Derral's saying, to know how to distribute the awareness of that act or that event. So we thought we should come on here and Derral would talk about these principles and give you an idea of what they sound like. And then we would actually use them in practice and produce a live event that we would promote using these exact same techniques. And so, Derral, you want to, we haven't exactly, that's as far as we've gotten, but we're definitely planning on doing something.
Here's the thing too, is I asked Andrew before we started, what was the highest number of people coming on to a live event? And he goes, well, does that include webinars? And I'm like, well, whatever, and he gave the number. And now, like for me, what gets my blood going and I get excited about things is when I'm able to do better than what has ever been done before. So, we now have our benchmarks of what we need to do.
We do. So we're going to see if we can beat it. That would be pretty exciting.
I think the only way that we can do this and get people excited to come back on is first off, give them value. So it's going to be the most amazing live stream. Number two, we can have giveaways. Andrew is going to have some giveaways, and then I got like a special giveaway that I'm going to be giving away. I haven't even talked to Andrew about this.
I haven't even heard of this yet. Yeah.
I actually do consulting for some of the top businesses and brands in the world. Like some of my clients I've worked with is Red Bull, Adobe Software, NBC. Did some stuff with one of Bill Gates' companies, so on and so forth. And I think I'm going to give away a consulting package. Like I'll go and help someone.
That was pretty amazing, you guys. So, that's you're getting one of the best, I think. So definitely, that would be pretty exciting.
I like it. You're getting one of the best.
You're getting one of the best.
Oh my
You're talking to a guy who doesn't know this stuff. My job has been just get on and tell people about our products, but man, I am just a babe in the woods when it comes to this compared to you. So yeah, I wouldn't even be qualified to tell you if you're the best or not, but I trust that you are qualified to tell me you're the most.
That's pretty arrogant, but I'll just say, let's just see how many people come on the live stream.
That's true. Maybe we'll just let the proof be in the pudding. Although I have to say, Derral, is it arrogant when Michael Jordan says he's the best? I don't know. Is that arrogant?
I don't think he ever said he was the best. I want to clarify that. That's LeBron James, and
it may not even be arrogant when he says that.
Yeah. You might think that you're the best player, but we had the best team.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
It's true.
It's not individual.
It's true. It's true. So, guys, why don't you, if you have a question for Derral, now would definitely be the time. We will have more information for you as we, start planning this big event. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And
I think too that this is a great time for you. We're gonna go through the comments and see everything that you're saying. So if there's something specifically you'd like to learn in that upcoming video, put it in there as well, and we'll take questions now. So
yeah, and we actually have one. Yeah, right, on screen. And also use the hashtag WirecastLive. We'll throw it on the screen just like this. So please tweet at us with these questions and we'll throw them up here. So first one here, Derral, is from J. Ray Sparks. What are some good automated marketing tools for driving traffic to live shows?
Okay, great. Automated marketing is fun because once you set up campaigns and stuff like that, everything just kind of happens automatically, right? So there's tools like MailChimp that you can get for email, which is free up to 3,000 emails, I believe still. And then there's other software applications. Now, I prefer to use Infusionsoft, which, it can literally pull someone into a campaign. So like, for example, like if we have the email, if we're getting the name and email in that registration page, and I can literally send them on a campaign to engage the user. And so everybody comes in, it's just automatically done. And then all I got to do is just switch out the copy or whatever when it comes to the new campaign, and it's just automatic. But the great thing too is once they get to a specific point, depending on what we have, we can even send them, gifts to their house. Like we could literally send them a t-shirt or whatever, and it's just automatically done where we don't even think about it. It just happens. It's just the funnel's created. And so it's a great, I like the product. And there's other
Infusionsoft.
Infusionsoft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And there's other similar products out there that's not as expensive as that, and it does other things. I think all you need to do is figure out different types of software that would be similar to that would have a campaign sequence that you could actually take people through.
Right.
And two, this is a great way to get them to subscribe and get them to like, follow, share, all the things that you want to do.
It has a lot of those tools built in. So, and then do you know if there's would you also recommend other automated tools as far as besides just the email and the funnel creation? I know there's a lot of funnel creation ones out there. But
yeah, it does a little bit more than that too. So like if they'll put their, say, hey, be notified by text, when we come on live stream, and that's a really, really popular option too. That could be a part of your sequence where they automatically get a text message, say, hey, we're going on in 5 minutes,
Cool.
and you could have an email trigger, hey, we're going on in 5 minutes, where you don't have to set and say, oh, it's not hooked up yet, or nobody sent the email out. It's just, it does it automatically.
It does it automatically. That's cool. And then, so besides that, is that kind of like a one-stop shop tool? Those two?
It's a CRM that integrates with all the different types of automation that you can do out there. So yeah, it's pretty much a one-stop shop type thing. There's another one that I like too. It's called ClickFunnels.
I was going to mention them. ClickFunnels. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so Russell, like he did a great job at getting people to do really easy landing pages, but it also has like some A/B split testing, and then it also does some automation too for you as well. So.
Got it. That's cool. And he kind of built that tool specifically because he was looking for that type of stuff. He was like, I'm consulting people all the time. Right.
Yeah, and he's built an empire on that.
Yeah, getting
a lot of residual income.
That makes sense. You don't go looking for the gold in the hills. You sell the shovels and the picks to the people who are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We learned that here in California. So let's see. Great tips. There's another question. Looks like we got another one from the Goose024. Love that handle. How soon before you guys do your next live show together? So good question. We haven't set a date, but Derral, I haven't told you this, but I'm hoping by end of March we will be doing this special.
I am taking a trip to Europe in March, but we should be back by the end. Okay. So I get to go work. I get to speak in Germany and Berlin. And
poor you.
In
poor you.
Paris. Oh yeah.
rough stuff.
I wish we could like teleport. If we could figure out a way to teleport.
Seriously.
I just don't want to be on the plane
man, yeah, the plane. It's like travel is wonderful. It's the getting there that sucks right now. And and as amazing as airplanes, and you can cut down what used to be 2-year journeys into just 2 days, a day or two. But it's still not very fun 2 days.
Yeah, I think the end of March, 1st of April would be great. I think that'd give us enough time to implement a lot of this.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. End of March, early April. So we'll shoot for somewhere around there. We'll definitely announce dates and times when we get those more finalized. But we're just starting to get this stuff pulled together. We'll keep you posted. All right. I'm going to see if there's any other questions on YouTube or Facebook.
I actually have a question for you, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, you might not have the answer. You might have to ask some techno geek.
Always ask.
Is there a way that we could actually upload or send a stream to 2 YouTube channels in addition to all the other stuff at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We can really easily hit the number now. I'll just live stream it to my channel.
You just game it like a built-in.
We just gotta go.
Yeah. We can absolutely do that. So that's one way to do it. This one comes from Jeff Bradbury. He's wondering, when doing a live broadcast, is it better to stream to YouTube or Facebook if you can't stream to both at the same time? Do you have a
today they're actually going to do a how-to tip to actually do to both. It works because it's happening right now, and he's going to basically show you how to do that. That would be the most preferable way. And if I was to pick one or another, I would probably figure out where you have the biggest audience and the biggest opportunity for potential in a live environment. And that's what I'd go with. So if it's on Facebook, I'd do Facebook. If it's on YouTube, I'd do YouTube. And then what I would do is make a copy of it and then upload it to the other platform.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and really cool on that note, that's exactly what we've done almost up till this season. We constantly, it was Facebook, because that's where we just started, and we hadn't built in the idea of simulcasting yet, and the workflow, still figuring that out and polishing that out. But we would always immediately turn that around and upload it to our YouTube account. But you were saying, Derral, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I interrupted you. So I was saying you were saying something about.
I don't know. I'm thinking about other things now.
You've moved.
No, I'm just saying that it's you figure out where your audience is, and you can kind of engage with them specifically there. I always used to upload a live stream and pretend it was live. Sorry, but you can do that very easily with Wirecast too. So
Totally. And sometimes you can just pre-record it and stream it live, so it can be live even though it wasn't actually live. So we call that live linear, sort of our
is that what it's called?
Term for that, yeah, live linear. So this is a good question. This might be a good one for us to wrap up on, unless some other good ones pop in here. This one's from Pirate Moon Media. How far in advance would be a typical time to set for a campaign to promote a live stream event? What do you find is the optimal time?
I think 3 weeks is adequate to do everything that you need to do at that time. You don't want it too early because people will forget about it. There's a lot of social clutter that happens. And so, you'd lightly do all the things in week 1, week 2, you'd kind of ramp it up. And then week 3 is when you'd hit it hard. Just really the week of, the day of, you definitely want to do that.
You ramp it up a lot. Okay, so the first actual touch goes out 3 weeks roughly before.
Well, it's just getting things set up, getting the swipe copy to the speakers. I mean, you guys contacted me back in December, and if I would have had the swipe copy and stuff there, and then just kind of re-engaged in week 3, saying, "Oh, by the way, here's something that you can send out to your email list," then I'd be more apt to do that.
That makes perfect sense. So yeah, it also depends on how quick you are at getting that stuff together, right? How much can you if you're a novice at this, kind of like we are over here, you may need a little more time. But if go ahead.
The first thing is the first one's always going to take the longest, and after that you'll have a system down and you'll have a punch list down, and all you got to do, you'll have your templates down. All you got to do is just tweak, and it's just really fast after you do that. That first initial one. So the first initial one's definitely going to take a lot more time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. All right, well, you guys, I think that's a good note to wrap up our interview with you, and definitely tell you that Derral, I was thinking of Jeff Bradbury here, Derral will definitely be back, hopefully end of March, beginning of April. That's just a rough time frame right here. So we're giving ourselves plenty of time. He's got a trip in there, and we'll get things set up. But you will be back for the best live event that we have ever done on Wirecast or Wirecast Live, and we will even be bringing in some of our ScreenFlow friends as well. So that should be a fun event. Derral, it has been a real pleasure. I have learned so much. I'm sure our audience has definitely valued this and gotten a lot out of this, as I have. So thank you so much for being generous with your time and your expertise. Really appreciate it. And people can find more about you at DerralEves.com or tweet at you?
Go to DerralEves.com, and it's spelled the most perfect way, which is DerralEves. So I think there's only like 3 of us in the world that
It's true. I have not seen that spelling for Derral very often. That's a pretty rare one. So cool.
There's a story behind that, but it'll be for another time.
We'll save that for next time, man. Well, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. Have a great rest of your day, Derral. If you want to, hang out in the chat and comment or whatever, you're welcome to. But you can also just kick off if you want. I'm going to dive into showing people how to configure Wirecast for sending to multiple destinations.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. That was Derral. And Derral, again, really happy he was able to come on the show. He's so nice. He's so knowledgeable, and he's been very generous with his expertise and his time. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun what we're cooking up here with him. It'll be fun to sort of put the proof in the pudding and experiment with some of the principles that he just talked about. Because I think as all of us we can all get better at this sort of thing. We can all get better at marketing, promoting, and sharing value with each other, and collaborating with both our customers, our fans, and our colleagues. So I think I know that I'm personally excited to try that and to get going with that live event. It should be a lot of fun, and we'll keep you posted as I have more information for you coming forward. So with that, it was a long interview. I did let it go a little long because there was just too much good stuff in there to cut it short. But I would like to show you now how to set up any destination in Wirecast as an RTMP destination. And why that's important, well, reason you might want to do that is exactly what Jeff's comment earlier on the Facebook posted was, why would you want to if you have to stream to more than one destination at a time, how can you do that? And that's through setting things up as generic destinations. And that's one of the strengths of Wirecast, that it's very versatile and can work with almost any RTMP destination. Real quick here, this was the video that Derral was mentioning. Who is Derral Eves? So if you want to check that out, you should watch that. It's a funny video. And I'm going to get rid of my browser there. I'm going to pull up Wirecast and just show you guys quickly how this would work. So each platform is a little different and gives you instructions on how you can stream to it using any sort of RTMP encoding software. And Wirecast is definitely RTMP encoding software. Because we are Telestream, because we have been making Wirecast for so long, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to stream to Facebook and YouTube. So we integrate with their APIs. They make, basically a set of instructions that developers like us can follow to implement the live event creation and streaming process. So you just basically need your username and your password, and you can log in through Wirecast and set up events, stream, and so forth. And that's just what you're doing when you select YouTube from the list and then click, OK, and you hit the authenticate. All that sort of kicks in using the API. So that's certainly one very powerful way to integrate with these destinations. But what happens here is that you run into problems if, for example, you want to add more than one destination using the APIs at a time. Facebook, for example, is very strict about their rules when it comes to whether you can use their API with another company's API like YouTube. So if you try to authenticate and create an event, then YouTube Wirecast will throw an error telling you that, hey, you can only, if you're using the Facebook API, you can only use the Facebook API. You can't use YouTube's, you can't use other ones in Wirecast. You have to configure those outside of the API process. And that's just one of the ways that they protect and stay competitive in the live streaming space. So using the Facebook API is a wonderful way, and the way that Wirecast integrates with is easier than any other software that I'm aware of. And there's a reason for that, and it's because we've been working on it for a long time, working very closely with Facebook. So for convenience sake, you're not going to beat the way Wirecast will help you create live events and live streams on Facebook. So you may want to use that to log in and then sign up for, and stream to Facebook. Now, in this case, though, if you then want to add a second destination like YouTube, like Periscope, well, then you can't add them using the built-in API destinations. You need to configure them as generic RTMP servers. That is not a limitation that Facebook puts on you, because they know that people do need to stream to more than one location at a time. They just don't necessarily need to do it using the APIs. So from the list, you're going to select RTMP server, and really that just means any server out on the internet that accepts RTMP, which is the Flash real-time messaging protocol. That's what Wirecast packages all that audio and video information into little packets that are in the RTMP protocol. And that is then sent to these servers out there. And all this really is what's kind of happening with the other ways, the destinations, but instead all that's done automatically. You just need to now fill in the correct information. It's just like filling out a postcard or a letter, mailing a letter or something like that. You just need to make sure you fill in the correct address and then who it's for, right? So that, in this case, typically boils down to these two fields. You need to select your RTMP address or destination, and that's unique to each company or each site or platform that you're streaming to. YouTube has their own, Periscope has their own RTMP address, Facebook has their own RTMP addresses. You need to go to their sites and copy and paste that information into this field, and then that's basically addressing your envelope. Next is your stream key, and that's really the name of who at that address are you trying to reach, right? So whose page? In Facebook, obviously, there's one RTMP destination, but it's really for an entire block of servers across, say, the whole West Coast or the whole East Coast, it's a region really. And then the next thing they need to know is, all right, which page or profile and person are you streaming to? And that's usually where the stream key or the stream name is then comes into it. So why don't we go out there and grab a couple. And I'm going to pull up here. I'm going to actually go to here, and I'm going to go to our Wirecast page and log in here. And what I want to do is schedule a live event or create a live event as if I was going to stream from desktop. And a quick way to find this is, there's a lot of, we actually have a how to stream to Facebook, and these will they'll pop up a lot of different instructions that you can follow, and we have ones that are very easy to follow if you're using Wirecast, but and typically we just show people how to stream using the built-in destination. But if you're wanting to go a little outside of that and then click and actually do it this way through the generic RTMP destination, you're going to want to do a little bit differently. And you can follow the instructions on a lot of these articles. There's a lot of YouTube videos, and it basically boils down to getting the correct addresses and then entering them into your RTMP fields there. So on the Facebook page, when you go to videos, or you're going to go live and you want to schedule a live event, we want to create a live event. In this case, you may want to, hold on, go to, I actually might need to use YouTube because I'm much more familiar with doing it through YouTube. Facebook, I've pretty much only done the API here. There's a way to grab the, to schedule a live event as if you want to go live now. I'm going to go here. Hold on. Nope, that's going to be uploading only. Manage tools. May need to go to my personal page here. Hold on. All right. So photo, video. Yeah, it's not just going to show me, is it? Let's do events maybe. Create an event. Be the event page. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find this right now. If you guys have a tip, just type it in. I'm going to go over to YouTube. That's going to be an easier way to do this. Okay, so Facebook has a way to do this. And I did not do my homework before doing this live stream. The week sort of caught up with me. But in YouTube, it's actually quite simple. You're going to go to your Creator Studio. Your Creator Studio is where you manage all your live, your posts, your events, etc. It's where you can do that. And your video, and they really make it super straightforward for you. You see this big live streaming tab on the Creator Studio control panel right here. So click on the live streaming tab, and you're going to get these two different areas. One is the stream now, and one is the events. Events are great if you want to schedule a test or an event in the future, kind of like what we were talking with Derral about. That is a wonderful way to sort of set an event up a few weeks in the future. But if you want to, if you just want to go to the same place every time to your live channel, they've set up this Stream Now channel that you can stream to, and it's always going to be the same stream destination, the same stream key for you and for your live stream. So, and at that point, this is really straightforward. I'm not going to even go over the necessary, but you can fill out some information here. You can call it, my live stream. You can fill out your description and so forth. You can choose your category. What are you going to be talking about? In this case, we'll do education, private. And at that point, you're going to get these two fields at the bottom here. And this is really what you're looking for when we talked about the event and the stream key. So in my case, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to head back to Wirecast. I'm going to copy that stream address in there, that RTMP address. In this case, it's a.rtmp.youtube.com/live2. And then the next thing I need is my stream key. All right, and that is going to be the unique stream key for this channel. And so I'm not going to show that here because I can't, but you'll basically be able to copy this. So you can click the reveal button and copy it, and paste it into Wirecast. And the window should be right here. And you'll copy that right into that field right there. So the stream key and that for, and that stream key is unique to your account. It's unique to your channel. So, you know, keep that safe or guarded, because, you know, otherwise anyone can in theory stream to your channel and take it over. So you don't want to show that to people on your public channel. But that, once I have those two pieces of information, that's it. I just need to set what size and resolution and frame rate I'm going to be streaming at, and I can hit OK, and it's going to start streaming to YouTube immediately. The same principle applies for your Facebook page if you can find that information, which it shouldn't be that difficult to find. I could probably find in a couple minutes here, but I don't want to waste your time and a lot of quiet. Now, with YouTube and Facebook, in fact, event scheduling is the other way to do this, and those are going to generate slightly different stream key addresses. Probably the address itself, the RTMP address, will be the same because it's probably going to go in the same server location, but the stream key will be unique to each event. What's cool about events on Facebook and YouTube, YouTube in particular, is you can actually embed that video player. It's a unique video player. It's a unique video URL every time. So if you're doing a special event, it's a great way to sort of put that, you can put that player anywhere, just like a normal YouTube video. The Live Now stream is a little different. You can't embed that. You have to go to the YouTube page or your YouTube Live channel. And the way anybody can get to their YouTube Live channel is pretty easy. All you need to go to is, you know, youtube.com, and then you type user, and then the /user/name, and then /live. So it's really user, and then / the username /live. That will take you always to the live channel. So that's where we're streaming on YouTube right now. So if I click that in for Wirecast Live, we should see me pop up here. That's where I'm streaming this content to right now. We just streamed to our live page, just like that. So it's a really, it's a consistent, you can share that link out every time, but the only place to watch it is here on YouTube. People have to travel here, and then they can participate in the chat. They can do all kinds of cool stuff like that, which I really like, and that's what we've done to keep it simple. But what the disadvantage of this is that you can't, there's no embed code, right? If you're going to share it, you're going to share, maybe there is an embed code. Look at this. So the embed for this, looks like you can then embed this on other pages. When you go to sort of the behind the scenes look at these pages, and you head over to sort of the stream options and sharing, they don't offer the embed code sort of pre-live event. I think you actually, maybe the reason is you have to be streaming it ahead of time. Maybe that's why. But you can view it on watch page. But they don't just give you this embed code here. They give you the actual link to the channel, to the page itself. And then if you actually want to do the embed code, you need to do it through sort of the same way you might embed a typical thing. And I don't know if this is possible or not. I don't think it's the same link every time. It'd be interesting to know if this embed code works, if it's even available if you're not live streaming. With events, you certainly can do that, and you can grab that URL when you are streaming to a live event, and even before you've even started streaming to that live event. So I want to cover how you create live events really fast, so at least you see how that's a little bit different from the live page on your YouTube, the live channel. So let's look at that real fast. The live event, and you're going to again go back to the Creator Studio, head over to live streaming, and click events. What you do here, and by the way, Wirecast can stream to either of these. By default, it can find your live stream channel, which it calls the default channel. It will also find any events that you created or allow you to do what I'm about to show you now if you're using the Wirecast, you know, the YouTube API. But again, the reason we're showing you this is how to do it without using that API inside the software. So in this case, just as a generic. So up here, you're going to go back to the new live event. You're going to hit create and click, you know, again, same. The title, description. You're going to choose a time of day, time to start, and you can even add an end time as to when you want it to finish. Add a description. So again, and we can even set it to, you can't set it to start in the past, and there are limits to how far in the future you can schedule live events. You can choose whether you want it unlisted, private, public, so forth. Hit OK. Over here, this is the important part. Do not choose, this is by default unchecked, so you should be fine, but choosing the type of live event is versus a quick versus custom. Custom is what you want. That when it says more encoding options is talking about software like Wirecast, RTMP encoders. Quick is using your browser, Google Hangouts, and you're just going to get a much less lower quality in terms of overall possible broadcast that you can do. All right, and that's pretty much it. You can go into advanced. I don't need to really talk about, but there's a bunch of stuff that you can set here. You're going to hit create to create the event, and that's going to take you to sort of the info and ingestion settings and things like that. You can assign a thumbnail for your event, which I obviously highly recommend. People can see what the event is about or some sort of image that represents that program or that show. Choose what you think the event size and settings and resolution will be, whether you're streaming in 720p or 480p or 1080. This doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of difference, but there's also then it's going to ask you to choose your encoders, and you don't really need to do that except to understand that this is where you get that information. So this is how it provides you all that unique stuff that you might want. And again, we're seeing here that the primary RTMP server URL is the same as we saw with the live now, just like we predicted. But it also gives you a backup server option, so you can actually stream more than one in case you think one is going to go down. This might be a good tip for someone who's doing a high-profile live event, similar to what we might want to do with Derral coming up, is to stream that same content to more than one destination or backup server, your primary and your backup. So if for whatever reason your first one goes down, your backup will roll over and YouTube will just switch immediately to the backup stream in case the first stream goes down. And then finally we see this stream name here. I'm not that worried about revealing this one because it's just to this unique event, which I will most likely not be using and deleting. And you copy that in there and hit OK. At that point, you're ready to stream. I'm going to go to my output settings here again. I'm going to remove the Facebook one for now. I hit OK. And you can select your size that you're encoding. We have YouTube defaults in here. And hit stream. Now, your stream does now not automatically appear on YouTube when you've scheduled a live event. It does automatically appear if I'm streaming to my Live Now page. But with the events, those are a little different. So we go to Save Changes, and we go, now this live event, each live event has a live control room. This is where you get to make sure that you control everything in the browser. This is very similar to Periscope. If you're streaming, again, Periscope will be configured the exact same way. You go into the Periscope app, you schedule a new event or a new sort of advanced source. You start streaming with Wirecast, and at that point, Periscope in the app says, oh, I'm getting the stream, because you entered all that information correctly into the RTMP fields in Wirecast. Now that you've entered that information correctly, you started streaming, I'm getting data, but your audience is not going to see it yet until you hit OK here in the app, or in case of YouTube, until you say, yeah, this looks good. Facebook works the same way. When you schedule an event, you will and you enter it as an RTMP destination in Wirecast, same thing. You're going to send it that information. You're going to check in Facebook on this website itself whether or not the stream is okay and it's looking good. When you, in your user account, see that, you then basically approve the stream. You say, okay, we're good to go live. So in YouTube's case, you're going to start by hitting preview, and then it pops up a little warning. Are you sure you want to preview this live event? It may take a few seconds. And yes, we're definitely sure we want to preview it. This health bar is good. It's telling me my stream status is good. Everything's looking gravy. It tells you, it gives you this handy pop-up, we're preparing your live stream now, or preview, please wait. and then it's basically the preview's ready. We could go down and start watching the stream before the audience even has a chance to see it. And that's all coming straight from Wirecast over here, and at this point it's very boring. It's just my Wirecast, sort of our generic placeholder image for the live broadcasting area. When you're ready, you hit thumbs up. Let's start streaming. And again, of course, wants to make sure we're totally sure we want to start streaming. And you're live, right? So your event is live. The countdown starts at this point. YouTube starts recording the event, and you're off and running. It's telling me my status is not so good right now, and that's probably because I'm not using a YouTube default in Wirecast to stream. I just hit the a generic default, which isn't necessarily good for YouTube. But the nice thing here is they're giving you information about the stream. They're telling you what's wrong, what could be better, and so forth. We can go now view it on the watch page and see just what the audience would see. And there it is. We're streaming live there, and that's all just through configuring it as a generic. And of course, we can do this over and over again. We can add as many streams as we have the processing power on our computer to handle and the bandwidth to handle in Wirecast. So Wirecast is great that way. It allows you to stream to more than one RTMP destination. So we want to add a second one. We can do that. Hit OK. We can title this one, Facebook. Or we can title it Periscope, because Periscope at this point. And then the nice thing is then we've added YouTube as one destination. We've added Periscope as another through RTMP servers, right? And then we're free to use the Facebook API and add Facebook as our last destination. Okay, in that case, we're not configuring it as an RTMP, and again, I would have shown you how to do that, but I didn't do enough due diligence before the show to find out exactly where that scheduling button is in Facebook. I'm not the greatest Facebook user. I don't use it every day all the time, but that might surprise many of you. So that's kind of it, but it certainly is possible. There are instructions out there, and maybe I'll be able to follow up with exactly where those buttons are and how to do that in the future. But the principle is the same in all cases. So really, whether you can do it on YouTube, if you can do it on Periscope, you can do it on Facebook just as easily. And that's how you can set them up as generic RTMP servers. And the reason, again, why you might do that is because then you don't have any conflicts of interest with the different APIs and the different companies that may be in competition with using those APIs and those username logins. All right, folks, I hope that was helpful. That's how you configure any destination as a generic RTMP server. It's pretty straightforward. Really comes down to that key, those two keys, your stream key and your RTMP destination. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely tune in. Give us a like or follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or Periscope. If you like this, definitely we will continue to do these and bring on more great guests like Derral. Stay tuned for that really upcoming, exciting live event. We'll be announcing more information shortly about. And finally, if you want to win a Wirecast gear, you should head over to PTZ Optics for the giveaway. And don't forget, it's at ptzoptics.com/wirecast-gear-giveaway. And they have great it's a pretty cool contest that they're running over there. And they'll be running for another 2 weeks. So you have time still to sign up there. And that Friday, February 24th, I will be live with Paul on his show as we do the giveaway. So it should be a fun time. And I hope to see you guys there. All right, thanks so much for watching. This has been Wirecast Live. Hope it's been a great show. You enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you next week when we interview Dave Basulto from iOgrapher.com. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next week, and so long. Happy streaming.